Hello guys, in this lecture we are going to learn antiferromagnetism, ferromagnetism and application of ferrites. Let's start with antiferromagnetism. In antiferromagnetism material, the magnetic moments of adjacent atoms align in opposite direction so that the net magnetic moment of a specimen is nil even in the presence of an applied field. In a simple way, you can say that antiferromagnetic materials has magnetic moments of adjacent atoms in opposite direction. So magnetization is nullified even in the applied field also. The theory of ferromagnetism was developed by Neil, who is the French scientist. Neil, French scientist. In explaining the theory, he used Weiss molecular field concept of ferromagnetism. Antiferromagnetic material have small positive susceptibility at all temperatures, but variation of susceptibility with temperature is quite peculiar. The way in which the susceptibility of an antiferromagnetic material varies with the temperature. That graph you can show in this figure. So as per the temperature increases, the susceptibility is here going to increase and again it is going to decrease. So as per the temperature varies, the susceptibility is also varies with respect to temperature. As temperature decreases, as temperature decreases, this curve is of xm and this curve is of 1 upon xm. As temperature decreases, xm, here you can see xm increases, but at a critical temperature Tn, critical temperature Tn, it is called as Néel temperature, which is indicated by Tn. It finally goes through a maximum, that is here maximum temperature. If the temperature is lowered further, xm starts decreasing. As temperature lowered, xm goes decreasing, and as temperature increases here, also xm beyond this Néel temperature, it is also going to decrease. The substance shows paramagnetism above Tn and it is antiferromagnetism below it. The temperature Tn for most of the material lies far below room temperature, so that it is often necessary to measure the susceptibility of a material at quite low temperatures to discover if a given substance paramagnetic at room temperature it is actually antiferromagnetic at some lower temperature. Many substances show shows the antiferromagnetic behavior, and most of the most of the are ionic compounds, namely oxides, sulfides, and chlorides, etc. Antiferromagnetic materials are only of scientific interest, but their magnetic behavior has no commercial value. Theory of antiferromagnetism is helpful in understanding the theory of ferromagnetic materials, which are of great industrial importance. The variation of susceptibility with temperature of an antiferromagnetic material above the critical temperature Tn may be defined as Xm is equal to C divided by T minus theta. The material obeys Curie-Weiss law, which derived for a ferromagnetic material, but with negative value of theta. Theta is called the paramagnetic Curie or Curie temperature, and C is the Curie constant. Theta once again has to be function of molecular field coefficient. Theta has negative value, it means that molecular field which is indicated by Hm, H in the suffix m, Hm opposes the external applied field, where external applied field tries to align the ionic magnetic movements, and molecular field acts to disalign them. Below the critical temperature Tn, the tendency of dipole movements towards an antiparallel alignment of movements is stronger enough to act even in the absence of an applied field, because thermal energy is quite low. The lattice magnetic ions then breaks up into two sublattices designated as capital A and B, as shown in this figure. This A and B. This is A and others are B. These are the divided with the sublattices, and that having moments more or less opposed. The tendency towards antiparallelism becomes stronger, and the lower temperature is below Tn until at 0 Kelvin the antiparallel arrangement is preferred. An antiferromagnetic at 0 Kelvin consists of two interpenetrating and identical sublattices of magnetic ions, as here shown in the figure. This sublattice A and B, these are interpenetrating and identical sublattices. Each spontaneously magnetized to saturation in zero applied field but in opposite direction, just as a single lattice of a ferromagnetic is spontaneously magnetized. Evidently, an ferromagnetic has no net spontaneous magnetization and acquire a magnetization in the presence of a strong field. Next is ferromagnetic materials, which are also called as ferrites. In ferromagnetic substances, the magnetic moments of adjacent atoms are also aligned in opposite, but but the moments are not equal, so that there is a net magnetic moment. That is, if the net magnetization of magnetic sublattices is not zero, then the material exhibits a net magnetic moment. However, it is less than in ferromagnetic materials. This movement disappears above a Curie temperature, which is indicating here Tc, capital T in the suffix C, analogous to nil temperature, at which thermal energy randomizes the individual magnetic moments and the material becomes paramagnetic. Ferromagnetic materials, which have wide applications in electrical engineering, have a disadvantages that they have low electrical resistivity. The laminations used for electrical machines have a resistivity of about 14 into 10 raised to minus 6 ohm centimeter, and the highest value obtainable in ferromagnetic alloys is less than 10 raised to minus 4 ohm centimeter. This disadvantage of the ferromagnetic materials limits their application in the high frequency alternating current applications, high eddy current losses, and poor magnetic utilization of metal occur in sheets even at low frequencies. Ferrites, on the other hand, with useful magnetic properties, have DC resistivity of many orders of 10 higher than in iron, and ferrites are used for frequencies up to microwave in transformer cores. Ferrites means ferromagnetic materials are general complex oxide compounds of various metals and oxygen. Ferrites are derived from magnetite by replacing the divalent iron atom by an atom of another metal. One story of soft ferrite development dates to mid of 1930s, when significant advances in magnetic materials began to unfold. Over the years, important compositions that were developed includes manganese and zinc, manganese copper, nickel zinc, etc. Processing technique have led to 400-fold reduction in core loss and corresponding shrinkage in size of components made from ferrites. The best example is of transformer core. Many of many of the useful ferrites are isomorphic. Isomorphic means similar temperature, similar structure with the mineral spinel. Usable replacement metals are divalent metals such as manganese, magnesium, nickel, copper, cobalt, zinc, and cadmium. The properties of final ferrite depends on the nature of a replacement metal and on its temperature. When zinc or cadmium are replacement for iron, The ferrite obtained is non-magnetic when it is entirely replaced by one of the other metal mentioned earlier. The material is magnetic with a high permeability but large hysteresis losses. Complex ferrites are also possible when the iron atoms are replaced by atoms of two divalent at the same time. Typical examples are magnesium, nickel zinc, nickel cobalt, nickel aluminum ferrites, etc. In some cases, the trivalent atom of iron in, in the combination of iron and oxygen are replaced by atoms of another trivalent metal such as aluminum. The general electric and magnetic characteristics of ferrites are: first is a very high resistivity, generally more than 10 raised to 5 ohm centimeter. Second, a microwave dielectric constant of the order of 10 to 12. Third, extremely low dielectric loss. Fourth, a permeability of several tens. Next, a saturation magnetization which is appreciable but noticeably smaller than that of ferromagnetic materials and low coercive force. And the next one, a Curie temperature which varies from 100 degrees Celsius to several hundred degrees Celsius. And the last one, mechanically hard, brittle, and difficult to machine. This table gives the properties of some of the ferrites. Some are mixed ferrites having replacement of metals like manganese, zinc, copper, zinc, etc. Some of the double ferrites are ferrox cube, called as ferrox cube. For materials such as these are used because of their small energy losses in high frequency fields and because of low eddy current losses. Their permeabilities are also important. Properties of ferrites vary greatly with their sources, compositions, powder processing, compacting, and sintering regimes. You can observe here the ferrites are shown with magnetic moment per molecular, Curie temperature, uh, saturation magnetization, and initial permeability. And the last one, applications of ferrites. You can say applications of ferrimagnetic materials. The application of ferrites can be put broadly into four categories. First category is nothing but ferrites for permanent magnets, which is nothing but hard ferrites, which is nothing but hard ferrites. Second, ferrites for transformer and inductor, which are called as soft ferrites. Soft ferrites normally utilized to manufacture in the cores of transformers and inductors. Third, data storage, that also called as rectangular loop ferrites. That ferrites are called as rectangular loop ferrites. And the fourth one, microwave applications, which are that ferrites are called as ferrites and garnets. These are the four applications categories of ferrites or ferrimagnetic materials. Ferrite products are produced by powder pressing and sintering methods, and one of the common shape produced is the toroid. When wound the wire, toroid make efficient transformer cores, and because they are electrically insulating there, and it is very little eddy current loss even when operated at microwave frequencies. This, coupled with high saturation magnetization, has enabled ferrites to find applications in television and radio components such as line transformers, deflection coils, turners, and rod antennas, as well as in assorted small to medium power supplies. The use of low coercity square hysteresis loop ferrites for computer memory applications capitalized on the 1 and 0 states are produced by positive and negative magnetizations. These were generated by either clockwise or counterclockwise current flow in the cores. The semiconductor memory technology replaced them around 1970. This is about the applications of ferrites. So thank you for listening to me. Thank you very much.